10 famous shipwrecks that were never found. We have all heard the stories of famous shipwrecks such as the Titanic, but there are many more that have never been found. Some of them were lost in the open sea wading under thousands of feet of water, some sank in shallow waters right in plain sight. In the vast oceans of our planet, there are untold secrets, mysteries and treasures waiting to be discovered. Here are 10 famous shipwrecks that we still don't know the location of. Number 1. The Santa Maria. 1492. Anyone who knows a little bit about North American history has likely heard of this ship. Along with the Nina and the Pinta, it sailed to America with Christopher Columbus. Columbus and his crew made it to the Americas, declared it Spanish territory and headed back east. Columbus then set off on a search for gold, spices and other valuables on the Santa Maria. This popular story is often said to detail an incident where Christopher Columbus fell asleep and left a cabin boy in charge of steering. When he woke, the ship had run aground on Haiti. Columbus decided it was beyond repair and abandoned it there. The ship has yet to be found, and despite the claim by an archaeological explorer that it might have been discovered in 2014, experts believe this to be a different ship. The historic ship and its missing riches remain lost to the sea. Number 2. The Endurance. 1915. Ernest Shackleton was a famous explorer who had a tragic end to his overland crossing of Antarctica in 1915. In October of that year, his three-masted barquentine, the Endurance, became trapped and frozen by dense ice in the Weddell Sea off Antarctica, rendering it immobile. The ship sank in November, after being crushed by ice. Fortunately, the crew was able to escape on ice packs and survive. There have been several attempts to find Shackleton's lost ship, most recently in February 2019. The research was unfortunately cancelled due to the unusually bad weather. The ship and the history it holds remain lost. Number 3. The HMS Endeavour. 1778. The British ship has earned fame for more reasons than just its content. Its captain, James Cook, was in charge of this ship during the first crew-assisted voyage of discovery that ran between 1768 and 1771. The historic vessel did not go down in a deadly fight with the elements or a dramatic battle. The HMS Endeavour was deliberately sunk by the British in 1778 as part of their plan to block the French from entering ports during the American Revolution. It and 16 other ships were used to create this blockade. There have been several attempted recoveries for the pieces of the Endeavour, and a team has narrowed their search to 2 possible sites in Rhode Island's Narragansett Bay. However, the specific location is still unknown to this day. Number 4. Le Griffin. 1679. This French ship was the largest to cross the Great Lakes. It sailed Lake Erie, Lake Huron, and Lake Michigan. In August of 1679 it came to an island on Lake Michigan and traded with the local Native Americans by loading up on animal pelts and setting out from present-day Green Bay. However, Le Griffin never reached its destination. It was believed to be lost in an intense storm that commonly blasted the area. Some suspected that the fur traders on board may have been involved with the destruction, or that Le Griffin had been attacked by people of the First Nations. There has been a lot of discussion about the fate of the fur-bearing ship. One thing is for sure, it remains the white whale for Great Lake shipwreck hunters. Number 5. The Merchant Royal. 1641. This English merchant ship traded between England and the Spanish colonies in the West Indies during the late 1630s. It was said to be carrying 100,000 pounds of gold, as well as other valuable cargo, when it took its final fatal trip. The ship started to leak while it was on its way back to London. Furthermore, the captain of the ship offered to take on additional cargo that was on a Spanish ship which had caught fire nearby. The aging, leaking boat lacked adequate pumps after encountering a deadly storm off the coast of Cornwall, England. This proved to be fatal for the vessel. In 2019, The ship's anchor was found off the coast of the UK, but the location of the wreck of this cargo ship and its alleged $1.5 billion worth of gold is still unknown. Number 6. USS Indianapolis. 1945. After delivering a top-secret nuclear delivery to U.S. military bases in the northern Mariana Islands during World War II, this heavy cruiser was torpedoed and sunk by Japanese submarines on July 30, 1945. Although 900 of the crew were able to survive the initial attack, they were all left stranded in shark-infested waters. It took days before they were found and rescued by Navy planes. Only 317 sailors remained alive. It would be known as the worst American naval disaster of World War II. The ship itself has never been recovered. Number 7. USS Wasp. 1814. This was the fifth of a series of American warships that were collectively called the Wasps and were used during the War of 1812. The Wasp was a ship-rigged sloop of war constructed in 1813 in Newburyport, Massachusetts. She remained at Portsmouth, New Hampshire, until late spring, awaiting sailing orders. Put to sea in May of 1814 for deployment to the western approaches to the English Channel. The Wasp's main purpose was to take down British ships. But in 1814 it disappeared without a trace somewhere in the Atlantic. While the Wasp didn't carry the opulent treasures of many other ships on this list, it did have 173 crew members aboard, none of whom lived to tell the tale of what happened. We will likely never know of its final fate. Number 8. The Flor de la Mar. 1511. This 16th-century Portuguese sailing ship that weighed more than 400 tons had an impressive 9-year career, traveling many times across the Indian Ocean. That is not to say it was perfect. Historically, they experienced frequent leaks and needed regular repairs. The fleet sent out to help conquer the Malay Sultanate of Malacca was deemed unsafe. Although they needed every ship, they were worried about the ship's integrity. The Flower of the Sea was caught in a storm on its way back to Portugal, where it sank and is believed to be off Timia Point near the Kingdom of Aru in Sumatra. General Afonso de Albuquerque and a number of his men survived the wreck. There were many casualties, including the ship itself, which has yet to be found. It is said to carry an astounding 2.6 billion in precious cargo waiting to be discovered. Number 9. The SS Warada. 1909. This 500-foot steamship disappeared with 211 passengers and crew on board in July 1909. Nicknamed Australia's Titanic, it was making its way from Durban, South Africa to Cape Town. This luxurious boat had all sorts of amenities, including 100 first-class cabins, a lavish music lounge and delicious food. It had been launched less than a year prior to being claimed by a violent storm. The final sighting of the SS Warada was believed to have occurred on July 28, 1909. Nothing more was heard from the ship or its passengers ever again. Number 10. USS Cyclops. 1918. This U.S. Navy ship is one of the more famous victims of the mysterious Bermuda Triangle. The Cyclops was nearly 550 feet long, with a crew of 306 people and around 11,000 tons of manganese aboard. First launched in May 1910, she had sailed successfully, traveling between the Baltic Sea, the Caribbean and Mexico, and assisting with helping refugees and transporting coal. The ship was commissioned by the U.S. Navy during World War I, serving along the east coast of the United States until it was assigned to the Naval Overseas Transportation Service in January 1918. On its way to Baltimore after leaving Rio de Janeiro, the ship disappeared without a trace. Little is known about what could have caused the disappearance, but it was believed to have been overloaded. Some theorize it may have been a drunk captain or German submarine that was to blame. To this day, no evidence has surfaced to help solve the mystery and find the wreck. There is an estimated 3 million shipwrecks spanning the world's oceans. We only know the locations of a small fraction, and we've explored only a small fraction of those. Will the treasures of these sunken ships ever be hauled up from the deep? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wonder.